All right. Good afternoon. I'm Scott Moon for scottmoonwriter.com. I am doing some just testing and evaluation of my current setup. So in the past, I had my webcam on a stand in front of the camera so I could set it up and I could look through the camera kind of and see my guests or whatever I was reading. And I've made some change. I want to make some changes. So a couple of quick things. I want to improve the quality of the content that I'm creating. Generally, it's going to be talking about books, talking about stuff. So, but I also want my desk, my workspace, because I'm primarily a writer. That's mostly what I do. That's where all my interests lie generally. And so I have my desk is becoming more and more cluttered. I'm not a natural declutterer or minimalist. My wife's very much a minimalist, and I appreciate the value of being kind of tidy and organized. You can see from my bookshelf back there that things are getting a little bit out of control. It started as pretty neat. Now I'm stacking books every place and every which way, and all sorts of stuff like that. So what I'm doing now is I had a huge, big clickety-clack keyboard, mechanical keyboard that had a double strap that goes to the back of my camera or to my back of my Mac, and I have then I had wires from the podcast camera that tangled some things up, and then I also had a position of this weird little tripod on there that's always kind of sliding out of sync with everything. And I have, of course, my Audio-Technica. I'm probably saying it wrong. I guess I could put some of those links in the show notes if I was going to be helpful. But it's a really good microphone. It is a dynamic microphone. It just catches kind of what's right there. It doesn't catch background noise, which is good for me because you can see I'm in my basement. Sometimes I have some air conditioning noise and whatnot. But the point is I have this mic. I actually have one just like it that it wore out. This connector where it plugs in wore out. And then Josh Hayes, my Keystroke Medium partner, he had an extra one of these for a different show that he's doing. So this is actually a loaner mic. But the Audio-Technica or Audio-Tech, I think it's Audio-Technica, is actually a really good quality. This is only a $50 mic, but if you use it right, it's very well. So if I sit way back here, it's not very loud. If I get up close, it's considerably louder. You can modify it for your own personal broadcasting style. The problem is I also have a standing desk, which I'm going to test out here in a second and show you some of my issues. And it's one you press a button and it mechanically comes up and down. It's very nice. I got it at Costco for $300. I don't remember the brand. Maybe I'll find out and put it in the show notes. But it's very good. But since it's thick, it's too thick for most C clamps, the most microphones and things and boom mics can clamp onto. For a while, I had my mic hanging from the ceiling in a weird kind of workaround, which is how some of the mic connections wore out, and it was always hanging. So it's always in danger of plummeting to the ground in a horrible torrent of sparks and flames and whatnot. So what I have now, if I can even do this, I have, yeah, I can see it that well. I have my mic on a music stand. I'm going to lift it up real quick. Right there. So that's actually works pretty good unless the music stand falls over, which it sometimes does, and smashes the mic onto the camera. It also makes standing up and down and making the most use of the standing desk. I like to go back and forth between standing and sitting. It limits the use of that because it makes it a little bit more of a hassle. Now, as you can see, what I've done here is I have my Mac and I have this. It's a Logitech 1080p camera, which is better resolution than my Mac. But I'm going to probably go to a DSLR camera setup of some sort and get better quality. I'm going to get some lighting. Might even change my backdrop a little bit somehow. We'll see how that goes. So my point is here is that this stand here is less than ideal. And when I voice dictate, I find myself voice dictating. When I voice dictate, I get really close to the mic. But so I'm voice dictating and I'm trying to look at all my screens and I sit like this for hours and hours and I'm all kinked out of place. So I'm probably going to buy a set of headphones, and it's the same brand, Audio-Technica, with a boom mic that also is a dynamic rather than, I think condenser is the other type. But it basically just it rejects sounds outside of your little voice cone. And the one I'm getting is a broadcast mic that you would use like if you're announcing for like sports venues. They have these types of mics because obviously they work in very loud environments, and I think that would be good for me. So my air conditioner kicks on, or the kids run crazy above upstairs or something like that, it won't be poor quality or distracting to the listener. And also, I can move around. It'll be kind of always the same place. Like when I start talking, I get animated and move around, and my voice is probably doing different things. In my ears, it still sounds the same, but as far as for the listener, it doesn't. So the other thing is I notice a lot of people who do lots of like where YouTubing is their like their income, their main job. They tend to look right at the camera because they probably have a big light ring, which I don't have yet, and then they stare more at the camera, and it's more personal and it's and whatnot. So I'm trying to do that right now and see if I can do it. If it's weird and creepy that I'm staring straight into the camera, I don't really know. For me, if I was just doing a presentation like on some information I wanted to share, it would be fine. But we're usually doing interviews, and sometimes I have to read like show notes, or I'm monitoring the live chat, or looking up some research to talk to our guests, or something about their books, or just watching my guest, because that's part of having a conversation. You read their body language and you pay attention. You got to be attentive. But if I'm just staring into the camera, I don't know if that's that natural. So that's why I would set that camera in front of me, and then I would put it real close. I make my view window in Google Hangouts very, very small, so it fit right next to the camera, or maybe even kind of through the cracks. And then I would look through there, and that way it looks like I'm actually making eye contact with whoever I'm talking to, which is, I think, good. So back there, the advantages of having the camera behind my computer monitor is that I have more distance. I don't feel like I'm right in my face so much. I like that better. Sometimes I feel like it's just too much face when I go back and watch our Keystroke Medium podcast later. But so I like the distance. But I was watching but I don't really, I don't like when people are like looking down or doing stuff and it's like they're distracted. But I was watching the self-publishing formula with Mark Dawson, and I'm terribly embarrassed. I can't remember the other guy's name. I really should do that because he did a great job, but he doesn't seem to obsess about looking straight at the camera. He's all obviously kind of looking into his monitor, as it were, of his guest, and it felt natural. He's got some cool lighting and whatnot. So I'll try to remember his name because I've been watching a lot more of the Jeff Dawson podcasts and things. I have the course. It's a good course if you do it. So with that, it's about enough talking about why I'm doing what I'm doing. So this is a test to see if the camera being behind the Mac is terrible, or if I should just ditch the Logitech 1080p webcam and just use the native camera to the Mac, which is a little bit, I think it's like 780 or something. It's not bad, but when you compare to everything that's out there, I think that the resolution could be distracting. So I'm going to try to do now is, and this will be fun, I'm going to go through some of the steps it would take me to stand up every time. So I'm going to raise my microphone, my music stand, which of course if I started practicing my guitar and bass again, I wouldn't have this, because I'd need to use it to put some music on there, and then do my little electronic. Oops, let's take it up. Lock. Close up. So I really want to. My motivations here is we've been doing Keystroke Medium for a little over 4 years now, and I like it. I really value our viewers and listeners and all the friends we've made there. It's almost not really so much that they're just viewers. It's more like we have an equal partnership, but I mostly get to do all the talking. So that doesn't make sense. But you know what I mean? It's not like I'm really telling most of our viewers anything they don't know. A lot of them are very sophisticated entrepreneurs and whatnot already, and successful writers. But if I'm going to talk and I'm going to inform and entertain, maybe I should at least have a good quality product. So this is part of my effort to get better. And I'm doing this on my channel instead of Keystroke Medium, because almost nobody will watch this unless they're really desperate to see, like, starting out. The other thing I would like to know is if anybody has any ideas for content they would like to see. Um, I want to talk about writing books, but I also want to connect with story readers, which is something that is sometimes hard to do. And I can see right now that the lighting is going to be an issue. I'll get some more professional lighting there right now, so that's very, very good. It's call attention to all my insecurities of being a bald guy. So that wasn't too bad. I mean, I guess I could do that every time I want to change position while I'm doing writing. So I'm going to move my chair. I have this big fancy chair. I'm going to clear out. So I'm going to reorganize my bookshelf, move some boxes. A box here I have and some things out of the way so I can, when I do my voice dictation, I can kind of pace around a little bit. Now I'm not going to have a wireless headset with my mics because me and wireless and computers don't jive that well. I use a wireless headset on my phone to listen to stuff, but I've never done well with that. So that when I'm looking at one that will plug in, I think it has a 10-foot cord, more than enough for me to walk around in here, and I can voice dictate. I can let some of the tension out of my hips and IT bands so that I'm not always jammed up and stiff after a long day of writing. I'm like anybody else. If you type enough, no matter how good your technique is, eventually you're going to get some wrist and elbow problems if you're writing as much as I do. Because I do use the computer and the keyboard stuff at work, but I also do it at home. So basically all the time on the keyboard typing. I started voice dictation quite a while ago as a mental exercise, and I liked it. And the more you do it, the better and more natural it feels. So I'm going to be doing more and more voice dictation, even more than I do now. And then I'll do my editing, cleanup, and correspondence stuff with the keyboard. So I repositioned my mechanical keyboard over with my other ergonomic keyboard, and now I'm just going back to my Magic keyboard or whatever they call it for Apple, because I don't use it a ton. It saves space on my rather small desk, and there we go. So I'm going to kick this off. I'm going to do one last test of looking directly into the microphone or into the camera so I can see how that does. I need to talk in a couple of different positions to see how that affects sound quality. So if I was wearing my microphone, I could step back and I could like talk about a book or something. Or if I was, let's say I was going to do, we were going to talk about like maps, and I put maps up on the wall. I could talk about maps. Maybe I could put a whiteboard back there. That might be a great idea. If you have any whiteboard tips or things you'd like to see, then let me know. So put some things in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm not sure if I even have a bell because this is not a massively huge YouTube channel at this moment. And if you have other things you would like to see on the channel, please let me know. So thank you. Have a great day. And I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to look at it and see how it works. Of course, Google Hangouts and YouTube is being changed. So who knows what will come in the next couple of years. I may have to do a whole different, I may have to record my videos and then upload them. Anyway, have a great day. Be safe. Live the dream.